Hi there everyone, my name is Christian Eschbach and welcome to another one of my album reviews. And it has been a dog's age since I have talked about Frank Zappa. So we are going to do a double shot of Frank Zappa because Joe's Garage is two separate albums. So we got Joe's Garage Part 1, which I'll be covering in this episode, and Joe's Garage Part 2 and 3, which I will be covering in the next episode. So, let's start with the CD release, actually. CD release, everything jammed into one CD. Woohoo! Go through it, it's pretty cool. Mostly just lyrics inside, stuff like that. The first album is fantastic. From one end to the other, I absolutely love the first album. Joe's Garage is a concept album. We are introduced to the story, the concept, everything that's going on in the very first track, the central scrutinizer. It's the central scrutinizer is how it's spelled. They do a great job of saying scrote the whole way through. So, you know, it's scrote. The one thing I like and dislike at the same time is the central scrutinizer comes back in and out throughout the album. The first track is the only track where it is 100% its own separate track from everything else on the album. Every other one, the central scrutinizer shows up either at the beginning of a track or an end of a track. And sometimes there's music, sometimes there isn't. For your average listener, you know, someone who just wants to put on tunes and enjoy tunes, it's not going to work. For someone who actually likes to listen to albums, it'll work immensely. Alright, let's get into this album here. Alright, the central scrutinizer already started with that first track. Got you going. Joe's Garage, the main track of the album, sets it up. Basically, it's the whole album starts out with a dude, basically Joe, and you know, they get a band, they put a band together, nice little garage band, they do their little thing, and they get a little popularity, and they really go nowhere, and they break up. Congratulations, that is all of Joe's Garage summed up right there, lyrically. Great tune though. One of the things that's really kind of cool about this album in general is there's a lot of different music instruments being used throughout the album, different sounds, stuff like that. It is not your average rock album. Musically, more comparably comedy albums, almost. Just because of the different instruments that are used throughout there and stuff like that. Definitely has more of a Looney Tunes kind of vibe to it musically, it really does. Okay, so I want to mention that the year that this was released, Zappa released 4 albums. There was Shake Your Booty, Sleep Dirt in January of 1979, Shake Your Booty in March of 79, Orchestral Favorites in May of 79, Joe's Garage Act 1 in September, and then Acts 2 and 3 were released in November. That's a lot in one year, but there's a lot of similarities too between this album and at least Shake Your Booty. I have Shake Your Booty. I haven't gone around to doing a review for it yet. I really should. That one's got an interesting backstory with me behind it. So there are definitely certain things that happen throughout this album that show up on, you know, showed up on the one album, show up on here as well. even musically that happens, you know, like, there's just certain music vibes and themes. And the reason why I bring that up is Zappa caught a lot of crap for the song Jewish Princess on Shake Your Booty, because it's going in on a bunch of negative stereotypes about Jewish women. Frank Zappa was considered a misogynist even by his own wife. There is definitely a lot of misogynistic behavior throughout this entire album. I think some of it was just really honestly social commentary on the time, because that's what Zappa did. Another part of it was just him flat out having a good fun time as a musician. And all this goes into the song Catholic Girls. Now, I went to a Catholic high school, and I went to a public high school because I hated being at the Catholic high school. And I will tell you, man, Catholic school kids, in my experience, back when I was in school, and taking into consideration I was in high school a little less than 20 years after this album came out. Or at least I graduated high school a little less than 20 years before this album. 18 years. This album hit about 18 years when I had graduated high school. And Catholic Girls, everything they say in here is a horrible stereotype. It's misogynistic. It's this, that, and that. That's true. Oh my God. Catholic Girls. Ugh. The music is really fun. It's really playful. It's really enjoyable. I really get into the music. It's just got this great little kind of almost doo-wop-y kind of vibe to it. You know, just kind of go, Catholic girl and their tiny little soldiers. Catholic girl. Great. It's just hilarious. And then we get into the next song. Now, the next song is musically one of my favorite songs on this album, because it comes in thick and heavy, and it is so cowboy without being cowboy. It is absolutely awesome, man. The song is called Crew Slut. You just gather what the lyrics are about on that one, okay? But it's got this great kind of almost country-esque, because of slide guitar kind of sound going on, really heavy thundering rock again. And I mean, just booch, and just great vibe on it. I absolutely love this song. Absolutely love this song. The lyrics are fun too, don't get me wrong, but absolutely insane. Now, the other thing I should mention is, if you've never experienced Zappa, Zappa does not have one key vocalist, because there, especially on this album, there's multiple characters, so there are multiple vocalists. I don't think I have all the information readily available here. Let me see what we can come up with. Oh yeah, I forgot this thing has 2 books. Alright, so Joe, the character Joe, is played by Ike Willis. The character of Mary is done by Dale Bozzio. Oh, really? So there are no women on this album. I really thought Mary was performed by a woman, so congratulations on Dale Bozzio. He does a great job of doing a woman's voice. Ms. Borg is done by Denny Wally. Officer Burtis is Al Malkin. Cyborg is Warren Cucurolo and Ed Mann. Bald-headed John is Terry Bozzio, one of my favorite drummers. Frank Zappa is Central Scrutinizer. Larry L. Ron Hoover, Father Riley, and Buddy Jones. The Utility Muffin Research Kitchen Course is Al Mankin, Warren Cucurolo, Dale Bozzio, Gordy Hormel, Barbara Isaac, and most of the people who worked at Village Records circa 1979. Alright. After Crew Slut, now Crew Slut is following the character of Mary. We're introduced to Mary kind of through Catholic Girls. And then we continue following Mary through Crew Slut. Then we get to the second half of the album. Now, the second half of the album, the first part of the album is called Joe's Exploits, even though Joe's Exploits really are only most of the first 2 songs. a little bit into Catholic girls. Joe doesn't exist much in the story by the time you get to Cruise Slut. After that, you get into sex and side gigs. Sex and side gigs for side 2 starts off with Wet T-shirt night. Wet T-shirt night is hilarious. It is this great musical oral representation of going to a wet T-shirt contest and the behavior and everything else like that. It's definitely some commentary, Frank making fun of the degeneracy of women and what they will do for a few bucks. There's definitely some major social commentary, and it's some smart social commentary on Frank's behalf as far as I'm concerned, even though it's definitely misogynistic. Toad O'Line. I really don't have much to say on this one. It's alright. Fills in the album. It's a good gap. A bridge in there. It is an instrumental track for the most part. That's, yeah, pretty much. Then it goes into Why Does It Hurt When I Pee? Oh my god, I love this song. This song is so hilarious. Now, lots of bands will joke around about the amount of times that they have gotten gonorrhea or chlamydia, stuff like that, while they're out on the road because, you know, the cruise sluts and their own stupidity. Okay, STDs are not funny. However, I'm going to share one of my STD experiences here, okay? Because I've had... Actually, I've only really ever had one STD experience. And I got lucky. It turned out I actually had caught a yeast infection from a chick. And yes, that can happen. A dude can get a woman's yeast infection. From having sex with a woman with a yeast infection. But, the symptoms show up the same as if you have gonorrhea or chlamydia. That really kind of sucks. So, here I am. I gotta go. And this is back in the days before they had a piss test. So they used to have to take basically a Q-tip, and they had to shove it up your urethra. So they had a Q-tip swab your dick hole. I got this big black woman holding me by the fucking scrot. She was my central scrutinizer. Shoving this Q-tip up my dick. Man, that was a moment. That was a moment. And so because of that, I laugh at this. We've been there, you know. And why does it hurt when I pee? Definitely. I've been there. Why does it hurt when I pee? My balls feel like a pair of maracas. It's just, yeah. It's hilarious. It really is. So, moral of the story, kids, use protection. Condoms are a wonderful thing. And then the album finishes up with the track Lucille Has Messed My Mind Up. And this is, basically Joe dealing with meeting Lucille, who, is the reason why it hurts when he pees. And she's a woman of loose morals. So is Mary. And it's basically just, at this point you realize that it's been this on-running story of just, drugs, sex, rock and roll, man. Not so much the drugs. A lot of the sex and the rock and roll. All because, wanted to play a song that goes ding, 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 ding. You're definitely going to have to continue watching my review because you can't buy these as separate albums. If you're really lucky, you might find old vintage copies where you can get disc, or you can get album 1 on its own, and then you can find the other 2. I actually stole this album from my Uncle Greg, not the CD copy. He had the vinyl copy, and he had the 3-act collection as a vinyl, as opposed to having, you know, the individual 2 parts. I honestly, I wish I hadn't got busted for stealing it, because I'd rather have the vinyl when I want to listen to it nowadays, just because it is one of those albums that you actually listen to, you know, and to me that's what vinyl is good for. If you're going to sit down, you're going to chill, and you're going to listen, you want to sit down and chill and listen to vinyl, as far as I'm concerned. Would I recommend this album to anyone? If you can find the first act by itself on vinyl, sure, pick it up. You're going to want to know how the story ends anyway, so you're going to need to get the second 2 acts. But the first act, just on its own, is this wonderful story of this life that this guy has gone through, where he's, you know, he put together a band, he met a girl, he fell in love with a girl, he lost the girl to, you know, a rock band, he wasn't in a rock band anymore. He goes and finds another woman. That woman gives him an STD, isn't really, you know, into him per se. She's just there for a good time, then she's gone, and it messes his mind up. It's a good story. It's an interesting story, and the way that Frank tells it is great. I recently read a comment somewhere where someone said something about it takes like a year to get into Frank Zappa. It doesn't take a year to get into Zappa. It all depends on what album you start with Zappa. And the biggest thing with Zappa is the social commentary that he usually uses or gets into or whatnot, and talks about stuff like that. Some people have a hard time with that. The fact that there is so much going on in a Frank Zappa song. It's not just, you know, verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, out, you know, or some variation of, you know, there's multiple layers going on and stuff like that. It's really good. I don't think it takes a year to get into Zappa. One good album, the right album, you can get anybody into Zappa instantly. But Zappa has so many different eras and phases that, you know, that doesn't mean that because you like Joe's Garage, doesn't mean you're going to like other albums he does, you know. I personally love Hot Rats, which was released in 1969. I love Joe's Garage, which was released in 1979. But Freak Out, no, sorry, not Freak Out, I don't have Freak Out yet. Absolutely Free, which was the second album, that was with the Mothers of Invention, I'm not that into, really, you know? It just really doesn't do much for me. Bongo Fury, on the other hand, I also think is fantastic, but that was with Captain Beefheart as well as the Mothers of Invention. Going by official release, that would actually be the last Mothers of Invention album. Not every album is going to be for everybody. I know a lot of people that absolutely love the Apostrophe album, which is Frank Zappa's highest charting album in the US at number 10. And while it does have some good songs on it, it is enjoyable. It's one of those albums I'm so-so about. Same with Overnight Sensation, you know, both Apostrophe and Overnight Sensation. I'm just kind of, and I had those together on a single album at one time. They're good albums, but they're not necessarily one I want to listen to. Anyways, folks, I'm rambling. Let me know what you think. Leave me your comments in the section. Make sure you come back for Acts 2 and 3, which will be coming up next. Well, if you're watching this the day this releases, you got 2 days before the next 2 come out, you know, following my usual Monday, Wednesday, Friday releases. So, anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Comments in the comment section. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications. There's a link that'll go to Patreon. Peace, love, take care.